love Amazon Prime, and so do 200 million other Amazon customers who gladly pay $140 a year for extra perks like free delivery, sometimes even same-day delivery, movies, music, and TV, plus a host of other goodies. But what happens if you want to cancel? That's the question going to court this week. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN, my go-to for online privacy. One-click hide your internet activity from hackers and snoops. Get 4 extra months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. Amazon Prime is the largest paid subscription program in the world. You can join with one click, but getting out is not that easy. In fact, the Federal Trade Commission says Amazon makes it near impossible to cancel. You have to navigate 4 different web pages and answer 15 questions. The FTC claims that Amazon duped 40 million people to join. Amazon says that regardless, 95% of their Prime customers are happy. Are you? Get my newsletter at getkim.com. Imagine this. A stranger breaks into your home, installs hidden cameras, and records everything you do, and then sells all the footage. Outrageous, right? But online, something just as creepy happens every single day, and it's completely legal. In the United States, internet providers can track everything you do online. Every website, every search, even in private mode. That's why I use ExpressVPN. It works like a deadbolt for your internet privacy, hiding your activity from hackers, advertisers, even your internet provider. It also hides your internet location. With servers in over 100 countries, you can change your internet location with just one click. And ExpressVPN works across all your devices, your phone, tablet, laptop, even your smart TV. One subscription covers up to 8 devices. And right now, get up to 4 extra months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's right, 4 extra months free by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. Go right now, expressvpn.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Happy Tuesday to you all. It's a terrific Tuesday on KSYL. Nathan Martin sitting in with Stephen Maxwell this morning as we're having our terrific Tuesday rotation. Al takes Tuesdays off, and y'all get the junior league that comes in here. No, that's the wrong word, junior league. That's the B team. How about that? Well, how are you, Stephen?
Good. How's it going?
Man, I'm doing well. Got a little something stuck in my throat there, so I may have to clear my throat from time to time. But
you're getting sick.
No, I'm not. It was a piece of that Circle K croissant that went down the wrong way.
I got you.
Yeah, so it'll eventually dissolve, I guess. So, but man,
you didn't spill your coffee this time.
I didn't. Thankfully, I did not. I was a little worried about that, especially because if those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube can tell, I'm not wearing my customary Tuesday relaxed attire. I'm in my Marion and Berrien suit.
Oh, Lord.
That's what I call it, because the only thing I ever wear this black suit to is to weddings and funerals. And unfortunately, it's a funeral today. Although it is for a 96-year-old military veteran who has lived a very full life. And so we will be able to celebrate him. I had a funeral yesterday and another one tomorrow. So tomorrow is 97-year-old. And I wish I could be here tomorrow to tell you her story, but I'd like to give maybe at some point this morning I'll give just a little oversight of her life. An amazing, amazing woman that most folks don't even know lived right here in our community. And I'm super honored to get to share her funeral service tomorrow. And of course, the gentleman today. Anytime you have heroes, people part of the greatest
greatest generation
is what I'm looking for. You're grateful for their lives. But we've got a great show this morning coming up at 8:00. We've got our monthly LSUA visit. And I don't know who all will be here this morning, but I know LSUA will always come strong. And so
Dr. Corral and somebody
himself.
else.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Bringing out the big dog. And then at 8:30, we'll be talking to Stephanie Bellegarde about the National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims Candlelight Vigil, which is taking place this Thursday from 7 to 9. And we'll talk with Stephanie about that opportunity to remember coming up on Thursday. But the first hour, it's all phone calls on the BOM talk line, 318-442-8255. Give Stephen and me a call. Let us know what's on your mind. Ask us questions that we can't answer. And then celebrate Stephen for setting a record yesterday on your Facebook page.
I
guess it was a record.
I don't know if it was a record, but it was one of the most viewed ones we've had in a while.
It's definitely, it seems to me a record since you started the
since we came back, yeah.
Yeah, since you've been back.
There's a couple that got close in the 80s and 90,000s. But TJ Maxx coming to Pineville, we posted a story there. It blew up as expected, maybe a little bit more than I thought it would. But yeah, people are pretty excited about TJ Maxx coming to your side of town, Nathan.
Yeah, we are excited. And I was listening yesterday. I didn't call in or anything, but, been talking with Matt about this almost 2 years. He had shared a long time ago. And in that world of community development and politics, and of course, being a pastor, there are times you just got to keep secrets. And that was one of those ones that I sat on. And every time he'd come in, and I think he alluded to it yesterday, I'd be, "Are you ready to announce the TJ Maxx?" And he's like, no, I'm not quite ready yet. And so I was pushing him. I was excited he got to share that, although of course, it had to be not when he couldn't be here on a Tuesday. Yeah. But that's okay.
I used to text him here and there like, "Hey, when are we going to say something?
Yeah.
Are we going to say something?" He doesn't have to tell me, but
Right.
he was nice enough to. And there's a couple of projects across Central Louisiana I'm waiting to say something on. But out of respect to business owners, you hold off.
Well, and that's why you have the respect of people that will share stuff with you, because they know you'll honor their confidentiality until it's the right time. And I can definitely say that about you. He did share. The one that I was most disappointed about was the Harbor Freight. Then when it didn't go through, because we had been talking about that for a year, and I'm a Harbor Freight fan. I really like shopping there.
When was that?
Well, back in December, I think.
Okay.
Because January, he shared it because that was going to come into. It was going to be Harbor Freight, TJ Maxx, and another one that he's still working on, and then Harbor Freight did a moratorium across the nation when Trump announced the imports.
What do you buy at Harbor Freight?
Disposable tools.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
No, I mean, yeah, if you're looking for some tools that like you're going to use it one time, and I'm not an avid shop guy, so sometimes you just need something that you can do this job with, and you don't want to go buy the very best tool out there, the Craftsman, the Snap-on, all those better Milwaukee, all those great brands, and so you don't mind, I have bought several toolboxes from there where every single tool has a little spot where it fits, and you can tell at a glance that a tool is missing, that you didn't put it back, or your kid took it, or you left it somewhere. A lot of trailer parts that our church has trailers that sometimes we have to repair with lights, or the balls and chains and all that fun stuff. I mean, it's just got a lot of great products for guys who are handymen.
It didn't ring a bell for me, but I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, so they're over there in we're behind where Freddy's is in Alexandria, and is that Common Point Mall, or I'm not sure what the name of the mall is.
I don't know what they call it.
But that's where they are in Alexandria, and they were looking at bringing a Pineville location. But when the trade situation became unclear with the tariffs, Harbor Freight put over 100 negotiations on pause, and Pineville was one of those. So but that was a big story, and you actually went on site with Insight with Matt Ritchie and interviewed him here. They're inside the store and saw the construction work going on. Big stuff.
They're getting their work done. Expected to be open in spring 26.
Man, that's going to be great.
Don't tell your wives.
It's too late. Yeah, the celebration has already begun, so I need to start saving right now. And the good news is their prices are reasonable. So that's why people like them.
We went to TJ Maxx when we were in Florida a couple times.
Yeah.
So
you can go get your gourmet popcorn.
My gourmet popcorn and Christmas gummies.
There you go.
You know how they have those like random candies during the holidays?
Right, that you can only get that time of the year.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like it's not my kind of thing. I'm not much of a shopper.
Right.
But my wife will be a frequent guest, I'm assuming.
Well, and I have a feeling that they and Ollie's will complement each other. And he made that comment yesterday how Brookshire's, the owner of Super One, had kind of put the brakes on the deal for several months because they have a clause that doesn't allow any groceries to be sold. And since TJ Maxx, of their 20,000 square feet, 900 square feet, is going to sell these customized, nothing that you would find at Brookshire's at all. But they kind of put the brakes on it for a little while, and he had to negotiate around that. But he did, because he's a good negotiator.
I mean, I never thought about going to Marshall's or TJ Maxx for a snack. It's just something to get a little extra money as you're going through the line there.
Well, that's some pretty big news. You also covered the news yesterday of the North Rapids Business and Industry Alliance hosting the Legislative Roadshow.
Yeah.
And that was a good story you did.
They were just touting some of the things that the legislators thought they accomplished over the past year and a half. And, transportation, education, and crime. I mean, a number of statistics to go on about. One of the biggest ones was insurance reform, saying that some of the things that they've implemented has reduced the rates across the board. But it's one of those things. And one of the comments they made is like media focuses on the negative, the controversial. And I asked them, I was like, hey, do you feel like that's the case? The Speaker of the House, Philip DeVilliers, he's like, yeah, we just want to come out here and talk about the positive things we have going on. So I can't speak for the Advocate or the Times-Picayune or whatever they're called now, NOLA.com. So, but
Centerline Broadcast has been bringing a lot of positive stories as well. So,
I mean, it's hard to be positive on politics, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Does it chafe you when they say those kinds of things?
No. I agree with them sometimes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, look, we have a couple of callers. They may be agreeing too. Let's go to the line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
So I hate to change the subject, but in all this Charlie Kirk tragedy, we didn't talk about the loss of a great environmental activist of our time. Robert Redford died.
Oh wow, yeah, that was mentioned briefly, but you're right. It kind of got overshadowed, didn't it?
Yeah, the irony is all these environmentalists tell us how the Earth is going to die and we're not going to be here, and somehow they all die and the Earth just keeps going. Isn't mankind so arrogant to think that he can control what God created? I just, I'm kind of like George Carlin said, the Earth's going to be fine. Mankind, we need help.
You ain't lying.
I don't disagree with that at all.
We could talk about that for a number of things. Humanity being arrogant.
Right. So, speaking of arrogance, what about the politicians telling me that my insurance premium went down? Have they seen my premium? How do they know that?
Well, they did say yesterday that there have been 20 filings for reductions in prices.
I think it's going to take time, but yeah, it's something to watch out for sure. I think everyone's kind of skeptical.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's two things in my life that have never gone down: taxes and insurance. So I'm not really going to hold my breath.
Yeah,
I hear you. Well, that's kind of what you see in, almost across the board when you see inflation with groceries or, cars. The prices rarely come down. This is kind of, I hate to bring up this term again, but the new normal.
Yeah.
And you just hope that wages can keep up.
So, Stephen, you probably weren't around when the king of inflation was in charge, Jimmy Carter, and inflation was like 18%.
Yeah.
So inflation is nothing new. You're correct. The cost of goods and cost of retail goods and cost of commodities have been going up for a very long time. So anybody that says that they're going to tame inflation is kind of like taming the Mississippi River. Really ain't going to happen.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when gold crossed the $1,000 an ounce platform. So, yeah, keep waiting for things to go down.
Yeah, and that's what you hear in presidential elections. Like, I'm going to bring prices down, both sides say, and they're like, well, you're probably not. It's just a way to get elected.
Well, gas has gone down.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
and gas does fluctuate a little bit more, for sure.
Correct. And so does, beef and stuff like that fluctuates. But no matter what a president does, he cannot increase the number of cows in North America.
Yeah.
That's what only the ranchers can do that. So, I mean, to say inflation has gone up, but what you can do is have tort reform, and we can stop suing each other so that our insurance doesn't keep going up. You can do that.
Yeah. We appreciate your call. We're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to have to take the break. Thank you so much for your insight as always, and we'll be back with more callers right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
Spirit Airlines is furloughing 1,800 flight attendants through the end of the year. The airline is in its second bankruptcy in a year, filing for Chapter 11 protection last month. The Union for Spirit flight attendants said the airline would look for candidates willing to take 6-month or 1-year voluntary furloughs starting November 1st. After that, involuntary furloughs would be based on seniority as of December 1st. The White House has banned Iranians who are in New York for the United Nations General Assembly meetings from shopping at Costco or buying luxury goods without U.S. approval. A document posted online shows that the State Department will require Iranians and those traveling with them for the UN's marquee event to obtain U.S. government permission before they can shop at the wholesale clubs or buy luxury items. And U.S. stock futures have been narrowly mixed this morning after record highs right across the board for Wall Street in yesterday's trading session. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Well, cooler temperatures on the way, but maybe some showers as well. Good morning. Our forecast calling for sunshine and clouds, a mixture today, as we've been seeing for the last couple of days. Straight shower, thunderstorm, about a 20% chance this afternoon. 92 will do it for the afternoon high. Partly cloudy skies, 74 degrees tonight. And as we get into Wednesday, a 50% chance of rain. Afternoon highs, 86. From the Sunlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talkback. Our second line was lit up all the way through most of the commercial and then dropped off. So caller, please feel free to call back 318-442-8255, the BOM talk line. And we will interrupt anything we're talking about to talk to you because you are the reason the show is here. I mentioned to you a minute ago a funeral I'm doing tomorrow. And I just want to tell a real quick story. The lady's name was Hannah Laurie Stellwagen. Hannelore was her name in German before she had it changed to the Hannah Laurie when she became an American citizen. She was born in Germany in 1928 and grew up under Hitler. Actually a part of Hitler Youth because everybody was a part of Hitler Youth in their childhood, wore the uniform and all of that. But she had Jewish friends, and so she did what she could as a preteen and teen to assist her Jewish friends and felt the horrors of the war, became a believer through that, a strong believer, and felt the call to be a missionary to Japan. So here she is, a German native who feels this call to go to Japan after the war, two countries obviously who were allied together called the Axis during World War II. And so found a mission organization that would allow her to go, got aboard a frigate and sailed for 30 days from Germany all the way around the world to get to Japan. Wow. And spent the next 50 some odd years of her life as a missionary in Japan. There she met, after being in Japan a few years and feeling like she would be a single missionary all of her life, met a young man by the name of Russell Stellwagen from West Monroe, Louisiana, who was a missionary in Japan. And it wasn't long before Russell, she caught Russell's eye, and he began pursuing a relationship. They got married, had, I think, 3 children, and spent, again, the vast majority of their life as missionaries in Japan. They retired and moved back here to Louisiana. And she's been a part of Central Louisiana for the last 20 years or so. But wow, what a full life. And conversations I had with her, she remembers several, so much of her life she remembered, of course. But there was one particular story that she was sharing with me about as a young girl wearing that Hitler Youth uniform and came across one of her, a Jewish man who was hiding, was looking for safety, and she pointed him to where he could go find safety. And she said she could remember the look in his eyes of, can I trust you or not? Because she was wearing that, and she prayed, and he did find safety. And it's just one of those, heroes from another era.
You say she got saved during that time went off?
I don't know the exact time frame of her
Okay.
salvation, but yes, it's my understanding that as a teen, came to full faith in Christ.
And I'm not like an expert on World War II, but it's just kind of interesting too because the majority of Germans were
Lutheran or
self-proclaimed Christians.
Right.
How that could happen is just.
And there are a lot of stories about that and things that we've got to be careful about even ourselves that don't get caught up in a favor. In fact, there's actually, believe it or not, there's people around the world who think Jesus is coming back today.
I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to. But I'm glad you did. I did hear the rapture was happening today,
right?
According to the internet.
Well, there's an African pastor with tons of followers who's made that prediction because of the Jewish Feast of Trumpets. All right, let's go to the phone lines. We said we'll interrupt what we're talking about. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Yeah, I was going to mention that I'm now seeing all kinds of interesting Exxon memes on Facebook telling me about how wonderful the carbon sequestration is. And there are literally dozens of responses, comments, and the comments seem to be 100 to 1 against carbon sequestration. And I'm also seeing wonderful allocates being addressed to the governor for all the wonderful things that were done in the last legislature, and numerous comments taking to task and suggest that he's a one-time governor. And it seems like to me something like Facebook or X or whatever you call it, those sorts of things can backfire pretty quickly on somebody that's involved in something unpopular.
Yeah, before the social media world made media available to everyone, campaigns had more influence, it seems like. But now you make a statement and, the people have the opportunity to respond and you see tremendous pushback. And so I don't know if they're as effective as they used to be.
Yeah, well, there's now, I can't even recall the exact name, but something like the Louisiana Citizens Against Carbon Sequestration. It's on Facebook, at least on my end of it. And the title is somewhat different from what I just said, but it was nothing that you could easily just pop off the top of your head. But clearly, those who don't favor sequestration are gearing up.
Well, there's certainly a large groundswell here in central Louisiana that are, and I think they've even formed a PAC, if I'm not mistaken. So they're taking their voice in a collective measure to make their voice heard.
Well, the folks down in southeastern Louisiana seem to be raising Hades about the issue as well. And there was one post about a pipeline company asking for permission to survey the yard or the land. And the people said, this was somewhere in Livingston. The people said no, and then they said that, well, we can come and get you anyway. And this goes to the heart of the matter of private property and eminent domain and so forth. And eminent domain means just as much to somebody in the middle of Baton Rouge as it does to somebody in the middle of Livingston Parish.
If I'm not mistaken, the legislature did pass some limitations on eminent domain, specifically with economic development. So I think, and I hear there may be even more in the next session. So I think the legislators are hearing that particular argument as being very significant.
Well, getting back to Mr. Landry, or Governor Landry, I guess I ought to call him by his title. This issue of how much he's done good for us. One of your previous callers said he couldn't figure out if he actually had lower insurance rates. And according to AI, the rates are down 2.3%. But of course, it depends on your individual situation. If you're a teenage driver or you have a teenage driver that's got a couple of tickets, I doubt that the rate is going down. But once again, we look at the legislature, the House issued a number of reforms that went into the Senate and were never addressed. And then they say, well, look at all the good things we did for you. Well, it looks like to me they put more billboards on the highways, what they did.
We're definitely seeing those billboards. I made a comment in my most recent trips to Mississippi and Texas. I'm seeing tons of them there. So if they're not careful, their rates will be right where ours are. I appreciate your AI comment. Sure. I Googled that, and AI's response was, yes, average Louisiana insurance rates have dropped by 2.3% through July 2025, following a 2.2% increase in 2024. So I guess we're 0.1% down from 2023. All right, thank you for that call. We've got to take a break. We come back, we'll have another caller. Stick around for more on Talkback.
KSYL. Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Deer season is fast approaching, and Verzweifelt Farm in Boise has just what you need. Stock up on high-quality, locally grown deer corn to attract those trophy bucks. This corn is triple clean, and they sell it in 50-pound bags or by the pallet. They'll load it, too, by appointment only. So give Trevor a call at 318-715-1322 or visit Verzweifelt Farms online. Remember, get your corn at the farm. That's Verzweifelt Farm on Hot Wells Road in Boise. 318-715-1322.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
As promised, we go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Good morning, Stephen and Nathan. This is Chuck Owen over in Leesville.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great to see you yesterday at the Nervia.
Well, thank you. It was an interesting event. Everything that was true, everything that said was true, and it was kind of hey, don't forget what's really going on down there, because there's a lot of craziness that's going on, and I understand how media works. I understand you guys on this station are a true free speech station, but not everyone will talk about positive things. And sometimes there's so much stuff going on, no one wants to think positive, and I get that. That's certainly the case where I live. I mean, there is one topic that's burning right now over there, and it's just the way it is. But what I wanted to tell you guys is thank you for telling that story about the lady in Germany. Man, that just takes my breath away, because when the living God, my belief is that when you really attach to the living God and you really accept him, and if you ever hear his voice, you know it is his voice.
Yes, sir.
And I heard Jimmy Swaggart say one time, it was at the barrel of his ministry after the second fall and things were terrible. People ask me why I'm still here. He said, because when I was a little boy, God called me. He said, and if God calls me to go sweep up the back of a church, that's what I'm going to do. And so what courage does it take for a woman to go from Germany on a boat and learn Japanese and go take the gospel?
Yeah.
That is the living God.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, I've known her for many, many years. I've never seen her without a smile on her face. She was a woman who radiated joy all the way to the very end.
Man, that's just so amazing.
And I hate to make this into something negative too, but I mean this in like a positive thing for her. They were so much tougher than we are these days.
Oh my goodness.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And probably by necessity.
Can you imagine being a teenager in the Depression? Living through that, seeing your country destroyed in despair, and seeing your countrymen doing terrible things, and then mustering the nerve to say, you know what, I'm part of something bigger than this country.
Yeah.
God has called me. So, man, I just want to thank y'all for sharing that story.
Well,
and then helping out someone on the street that could put her life in danger too, as a teenager.
Oh,
right? Unbelievable. Can you imagine the pressure of that and, how far things can fall in your country if you don't fight for freedom and for liberty?
There's no question. There's no question. It's, as Reagan said, liberty is one generation away from being taken.
Yep.
And theirs was lost in a generation. And her life could have been lost for doing that. They could have shot her for doing that. Someone would have caught her.
Absolutely.
And who knows what happened to that Jewish man she sent away? Who knows? But she did what she had to in the moment.
I'll tell you, when she told that story, that was probably the few times I saw her not smiling. She almost still carried attitude of, I wish I could have done more. And she was just a teenager when that happened. But she obviously turned her life into an incredible impact. Spending her son, who had posted the notice of her passing, he actually was a missionary in Japan for, I think, 11 years. And there were quite a few comments in Japanese on Facebook. I had to hit the translation button to be able to see what people were saying from Japan about her passing. And she and her husband were deeply, deeply loved. Her husband actually wrote a manual for missionaries to Japan to translate phrases that Christian missionaries would use and to help understand culture. And I met another man Dr. Daniel Reagan, who had been a missionary in Japan. And we were talking. I said, did you know Russell Stellwagen? He said, did I know Russell Stellwagen? He said, I have his book. And I'm like, his book? What do you mean? He goes, well, he's the one that wrote the book for all the missionaries that, we all use. We all learn culture and grammar and language. So Mrs. Hannah Laurie and Mr. Russell Stellwagen both are now reunited in heaven and get to rejoice over the fruit of their labors.
Have y'all ever heard of Corrie ten Boom?
Absolutely. Yeah. The Hiding Place, an amazing story.
Yeah. Same spirit of following God. And then the years later when Corrie met one of her captives.
Yep.
Y'all know that? She was in Toronto, and she looked up, and there was one of the guards from the German prison.
That's right.
And she had to sit there and watch him walk down the aisle. And the Holy Ghost told her to forgive him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the living God, and amidst all the other insanity we see around us, I will say, have that to hold on to.
Corrie ten Boom, Elizabeth Elliot, who went back to the tribe that killed her husband in the 1950s in South America and led many of them to faith in Christ, and then add to that Erica Kirk. And I'm not making it political at all, but the ability to stand and say, because of my faith, I forgive. If that doesn't rock your world, I don't know what will.
Yeah, and if anyone ever paid attention to that, I don't want to take y'all's whole segment up. I've dealt with friends and family through the years who are struggling with forgiveness, and they'll say, you just don't know what they did to me. And it wasn't anything like shooting your husband in the neck. And so if she can do that in this day and age, why can't all of us? So thank y'all very much,
Chuck. Thank you. Always appreciate your calls, and thank you for your leadership. One more quick phone call. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wish I had followed Turning Point a little more than I did. But I followed most of his services on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And the one thing that I missed, but that brought to mind after listening to his widow, a prayer that was associated to Francis of Assisi. Are you guys familiar with it?
Remind us, refresh our memory.
He says, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. It goes on a little bit from there, but I think you get the point.
Absolutely. Well, Barrister, thank you for bringing that poignant reminder to us. And I'm going to let your words take us into the commercial break.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
The world once needed lots of paper made right here in central Louisiana. Now we're making a comeback. With clean methanol, Beaver Lake Renewable Energy will turn Louisiana wood into fuel, creating hundreds of direct and indirect jobs and giving loggers a steady market again. It's not just a plant, it's a promise to our land, our people, and our future. Visit beaverlakerenewable.com and find out how we're putting central Louisiana back on the map.
You too could have a beautiful smile in as little as 12 weeks. Exclusive to Today's Dental in Pineville, Virtual Align Clear Aligners. The fastest, most convenient, affordable way to straighten your teeth for people on the go. Plus, they're invisible. No one will know you're doing it. Experience the Virtual Align difference. Call Today's Dental at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540. It's the ultimate bourbon tasting competition. Battle of the Bourbon. And your chance to drink, vote, and win. Woo-hoo! Here's how. Local restaurants have crafted unique bourbon experiences for you to savor. See the restaurant list at battleofthebourbon.com. Visit each restaurant. Enjoy their carefully crafted bourbon cocktails. Pay attention to the taste, the savor, and the overall experience. Then cast your vote for the restaurant that impressed you most. Online at battleofthebourbon.com. Participants who have visited a restaurant and voted will periodically win prizes, including gift cards, prize packs, experiences, and more. The Battle of the Bourbon competition ends September 30th, and the winner will be announced on October 1st. Plus, there are other ways to win. Tag the restaurants you visit and share your experience at #BourbonBattleSenlaw to win for best photos. May the best bourbon experience win. Visit ExploreLouisiana.com to plan your trip today.
You know that expression, put a little spring in your step? Well, whoever said it must have been talking about Glide Step hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with Glide Step, you get a pillow-like soft landing, then an explosive takeoff. It makes walking feel effortless. So springy, it's almost like you're floating. And speaking of effortless, have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins technology? Just step in and instantly your shoes are on. No bending down and no touching. Try Glide Step hands-free Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sean Salisbury is here. Mike Greenberg joins the show. We'll talk recruiting with Shay Dixon. 3 to 6, Alexandria's 94.7 ESPN.
It's Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it.
Yeah, President Trump yesterday talking about some things that they were going to have the FDA change some verbiage on, some policy on, and obviously it's created a bit of a controversy on the internet between medical professionals and the administration. And I don't know if I have an opinion on what is right or wrong, because I just learned yesterday that you can't take ibuprofen while pregnant because of some damage that it could cause to the fetus or to the baby. So I'm not really an expert, but what are your thoughts?
Well, like you, this is the first I heard of it, and I'm thinking was this brought to him by RFK Jr.? Was this information brought to him by, and he claims that he has some studies to back what he's saying. So I do see a lawsuit in the future from Tylenol, the makers of Tylenol, for defamation. But if it gets held up, then I see Tylenol being sued out of oblivion, because if there is a link being shown, here's what I would go back to say. This is what I said throughout COVID. You need to find a doctor you trust, and then you and that doctor make those decisions, because I have no clue. I'm on a board of a hospital, but I'm there as a layperson. I have no clue about medical decisions. So I think you need to make those with your doctor. Let's go with the phone lines real quick. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, where that came from about acetaminophen, it's a large study. There's the Mount Sinai Hospital School of Medicine, Icahn School of Medicine. It was UCLA Medical Center. It was the University of Massachusetts in Lowell, and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. It was a collaborative study between those four institutions, and they came to a result. They feel strongly that Tylenol is connected to autism and ADHD.
And I've seen a couple different studies. There was that one, and then there was another study that said there wasn't a link, and you can go like who's funding what and what's going on with this one, and the testing between the two was completely different. But from the doctors that I've heard of on, social media, whatever, they say that they've known this for years, and they say there still is no strong link between the two. And the way the president was talking about it, he was basically saying, there's no harm in not taking it if you can't, saying you should just not do it if you can't.
Well, that's some pretty prestigious organizations, and if they feel there's a danger, I kind of tend to want to go along with their opinion. The Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, Mount Sinai, Icahn Medical School. These are lead organizations. They're not.
But other lead organizations said there wasn't any link. So it's like, what do you believe?
Well, I do think it's important that at least the statement be aware there may be a link, and then the mothers can make their decision with their doctor.
I think maybe we should let the health professionals in this administration handle the talking points, though.
Yeah, I don't think Trump should have got up there and announced that.
He just made it worse.
All right, well, thank you very much for your call. We appreciate it. Always have the best callers. I didn't know where all those studies came from. That wraps up hour number one. Stick around for hour number two. We've got LSUA coming up here at 8:05 after the news, and then
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting. AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Secret Service says it's dismantled a massive plot to cripple cell towers and jam 911 calls just as the UN General Assembly gets underway in New York today. Correspondent Nicole Skanga has details.
Federal law enforcement says this telecommunications network was so powerful. Get this, it was capable of sending 30 million text messages per minute, potentially overwhelming and shutting down New York City's cellular network.
Investigators say they discovered more than 300 SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards within 35 miles of the United Nations. So far, no arrests announced, and no word on how many people may have been involved. President Trump is scheduled to speak at the UN General Assembly next hour. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be with him. He tells CBS Mornings the president will address decisions by multiple U.S. allies to recognize Palestinian statehood.
It's largely irrelevant what they've decided. There is no Palestinian state, no matter how many papers they put out. And the only time there'll ever be one is if there is a negotiation with Israel, which right now is impossible because they have a war going on with Hamas.
The author of the world's largest study to date on a link between acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, and autism is speaking out a day after President Trump advised physicians to urge pregnant women not to take it. Swedish scientist Victor Alfquist.
There has been small-scale studies that found some increased risk, but larger-scale studies do not support this, including ours, but including studies from Japan and studies from Norway.
Today, the World Health Organization said there is no proven link. The Supreme Court is allowing President Trump to fire an FTC commissioner for now.
The court issued a stay allowing the ouster of Democrat Rebecca Kelly Slaughter while it decides whether the president can fire members of the Federal Trade Commission without cause. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson says a ruling in favor of Trump would weaken the protections designed to spare agencies like the FTC from politics.
That would be a significant change because we previously understood that a lot of these agencies do have not just some independence, but that there's Democrat members and Republican members as well.
The court will hear arguments in December. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
More downsizing at a budget airline. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
Spirit Airlines announced it is putting about 1,800 flight attendants on leave as it cuts flights and restructures the business to reduce costs. The budget carrier has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection twice this year.
In November, Spirit announced it would reduce capacity by about 25%. Dow futures up 50. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Colleen Crane. Oak Hill High School in Rapides Parish was closed Monday due to a social media post threatening to shoot up the school. Tommy Carnline with the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office says the threat was made Sunday and they were able to track down and arrest a juvenile suspect after several hours.
They were able to create a fake Snapchat account, and that is where this threat originated from.
The suspect has been placed in the Renaissance Home for Youth. 2 men were killed and 6 others injured in a mass shooting in Shreveport over the weekend. Shreveport Police Corporal Chris Bordelon says the shooters opened fire around 1 Saturday morning where more than 100 people were gathered for a memorial party. He says the shooters are still on the loose and it's unclear what led to the shooting.
This was a large gathering of multiple people, so we do believe that there was an intended target, and many of the individuals that were struck were not the intended target.
LRN.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinic's on North Bolton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
Well, cooler temperatures on the way, but maybe some showers as well. Good morning. Our forecast calling for sunshine and clouds, a mixture today, as we've been seeing for the last couple of days. Stray shower, thunderstorm, about a 20% chance this afternoon. 92 will do it for the afternoon high. Partly cloudy skies, 74 degrees tonight. And as we get into Wednesday, a 50% chance of rain. Afternoon highs, 86. From the Sunlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to Talk Back for this Tuesday. It was Nathan Martin, Stephen Maxwell in the studio with some special guests this morning. The inimitable, famous, not infamous, famous Dr. Paul Carell, who I have such respect for. Dr. Carell, thank you for being here on behalf of LSUA. We're glad that you're here and you brought a guest.
I brought a guest, and we're real excited. Real excited to be here today. Two things we want to focus on. One is our new programs that we're offering at Fort Polk. You know, we felt at LSUA that we need to be reaching out to the military. We have this large base here in Central Louisiana, and we've been hearing a lot about more interest in LSUA in the Leesville area and on the base. So we went ahead and funded a position, and David's in that position, and he's actually staffed on the base in the education building on the base, and he's interacting with soldiers and families on a daily basis.
Well, so introduce our guest, his name and title.
My name is David Buchan. I'm the military education advisor on Fort Polk for LSUA. I'm a retired command sergeant major out of Fort Polk, and it's a great honor to be in this position because my career has been about taking care of soldiers, watching them grow and taking care of their families, and just this partnership with LSUA and Fort Polk allows me to continue that mission.
Wonderful. Command Sergeant Major, that you didn't just walk into that and buy those stripes on the in the Walmart aisle. That's something, a lot of respect for you, sir, and thank you for your service.
No, thank you, sir.
But Dr. Carell, this initiative, I'm sure, I'm assuming is part of the increase in enrollment for LSUA.
It is, and there's also a patriotic, commitment we have at the university. We are the general.
That's right.
And we just got an Army tank.
That's right.
And this is an Army base, so there's a connection here, because we really honor the military as being the generals. And when we dedicated the tank last week, we had the Secretary of Louisiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Colonel McGinley, who's from Alexandria, by the way. He went to Menard High School. And he made the connection that we like to make, our world may not be the same without what happened here in Central Louisiana with the training of soldiers for the maneuvers before the invasion in Normandy. And I mean, it brings chills to me that we had such a significant role in training these soldiers and having these military leaders here at the Bentley Hotel. So LSUA honors the military through who we are and what we represent. And to have David on Fort Polk, to me, just extends that commitment even more. And we need these soldiers and their families and the employees there. I mean, what is it, David? About 20,000 people at Fort Polk that are employed and.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Between civilian and military.
It's civilian and military. So it's a pretty large city, if you will. And we want to be on site so they can have access to post-secondary education. And if they get a degree, a lot of them, Dave was telling me this morning, a lot of them are interested in aviation.
Oh, wow.
And he's really excited about offering all the different degree offerings we have. And, we have cybersecurity and all the things that are going, artificial intelligence, education. A lot of our military wives may want to become teachers. And a lot of them have children, so they're interested in education. But to me, it's just a natural progression of expanding as a major four-year university in Central Louisiana, serving the needs of the people here. And, we also have, a big National Guard presence, obviously. And a lot of those military families also can be served throughout the area. But David came on board. How long have you been here now, Dave?
For about a month and a half, sir.
Yeah. And he stayed on campus for a little while, but now he's at Fort Polk.
Okay.
And he'll be there working full time. So if any military families, any military employees from Fort Polk are listening, David's your man. And he will be there on base. And he can give you contact information maybe at some point before we get off the air.
Certainly.
But it's a good way for you guys, too, I'm sure, to recruit people to the military, also get your education while you're there.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's great for LSUA having an office there because we're there to deliver education to the soldiers and families, geographically, personally, and academically. We're here to meet that promise. So, we're here. I'm absolutely, like I said earlier, honored to be in this position because it allows me to continue taking care of soldiers and their families.
No, for sure. And they have financial support too.
Correct. We have, as soldiers, they have Army tuition through Army Ignite, and also the Montgomery GI Bill, along with post 9/11, easily having them pursue and obtain their career goals and college education for free.
Wow. That's a big help, too, these days, for sure.
Well, and LSUA is already a super cost-effective institution, and so those other dollars can go even further with LSUA.
Yeah, we were talking about that this morning. I think most people know now because we've said it so many times. I think we have the lowest tuition of any four-year university, public university in the state. There may be one other that's right in line with our tuition, or maybe a little bit lower, Southern in Shreveport, but it's an extremely good bargain with high quality degrees and really excellent professors. And these soldiers are going to have those same professors that we have on campus. Because our online programs, whether they're in the classroom or online, you have the same instructors, the same professors, the same quality. And I'm really excited about our Fort Polk commitment because, military families are moving a lot, and sometimes it's a struggle to be able to have a life, to get an education, because many of them, like David, may retire one day, and they're looking for careers that are lucrative, and there's jobs locally. And maybe we can keep them more here if they get a tie to LSUA as well.
Well, let me ask it. I'm not going to call it a dumb question because we say there are no dumb questions, but I'll ask an uninformed question. If a member of the military begins their secondary or post-secondary education through LSUA while at Fort Polk, and then they move away, can they continue their education at LSUA?
They can online.
Online, that's what I meant.
Yes,
online.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's a great path if somebody's looking for something.
Absolutely. And, there is a commitment. He was talking about, David and I were talking about the percentage of courses you need to take at any one university to get a degree there. And I think he said 25% is currently what it is. So if they can continue their courses and have that 25%, they can get a degree from LSUA, no matter where they go.
Excellent. Wow, what a great commitment to them. And I love how you say it may even entice them to come back. We who live here sometimes forget how beautiful and attractive our community is. And a lot of folks from the Air Force retired back here. Even they had been here for 4 years and they went off other places and they remembered the fishing and the hiking and the camping and all that. And I'm sure it's similar with Leesville. We've got folks in my church that are from other states that came here because of Fort Polk and they settled.
Well, David, you're an example of that.
Yeah. Decided. Like I said, I like the community of Leesville, the military community, and Alexandria. I think it's a great place to live and retire, right? Cost of living, everything. It's a great place. And, with LSUA partnership with Fort Polk, it's not just education, but we can bring the experience to the soldiers and families, right? So even as an online student, you get a student ID. You're able to enjoy the experience on the campus. They have events, it seems like almost weekly, that soldiers could go to. They could go to the games for free. They could join clubs, academic clubs for free. There's a huge opportunity in Alexandria at LSUA that soldiers could enjoy the experience with. And it's just, eventually soldiers get tired of what's outside and inside of their installations. How about, enjoy and have a little bit of a college experience while you're pursuing your career goals.
Plus in Leesville, I mean, that was my stomping grounds back in the day. They have Wagon Master, Steakhouse, which is my favorite, and Lee Hill Cinema. So there's plenty to do over there.
All right. We're looking at some documentation that Dr. Carell provided to us, the RISE briefing that is brought out. You mentioned can go to the games for free. My biggest question is, when does basketball season start?
In about a month. I think we have the first game in October.
Can't be soon enough.
I know it. And Coach Jackson's ready.
I'm sure he is.
I had three players in my office Friday, and I felt like a midget. One was 6'6", one was 6'8", and one was 6'9", and I said, guys, towering over me, and just real good kids from Lake Charles, and he's recruiting, man, big time. These were high school seniors. One of them was a quarterback for a football team at Washington Marion.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, man, I'd like to see you throw the ball over the line.
Well, I look inside this magazine, and there's a picture of you standing on the tank. That's probably the only way you can be as tall as some of those guys.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about that tank. I wanted to be there Thursday night. I had a men's retreat that I was teaming, and so I wasn't able to be there, but I had it on my calendar. I know that was a very special event.
Well, it's a great story. We wanted to have an Army tank in front of the fort, where we have the biggest competition with basketball, and you're familiar with that big time, Nathan. So we asked the National Guard, and my old friend General Landreneau, he was the general under several governors.
Right.
He said, let me do some work on that, and he found a tank through the National Guard in Vivian, Louisiana, that wasn't really being utilized as much. The public wasn't really viewing it. And long story short, we arranged for them to transport that 70-ton tank. Stephen came by when they transported it.
I was there first.
Yeah, we had a drone that kind of followed it coming in.
Oh, wow.
And it was a pretty amazing thing. But we poured a slab, to the specs of the National Guard. And now it's been repainted. It looks brand new. Those tanks were used from 1959 to like 1991. And
it's got that dark camo.
And dark camo.
Really
good.
I like that image of Tank, the bulldog on the front.
Exactly. So it's become kind of an icon for picture taking.
Yeah, exactly. A photo
on our campus. And again, it's the honoring of the military. But I will say this, when you look at athletics at a university, you get off the bus at the fort, and the first thing you see is a tank aiming at you.
It's a little
intimidating. And I think they realize that we're there, for real business. We're serious here. But all joking aside, it's really an amazing honor to our military, to what we've been able to contribute, in World War II, and continue to do it with David's work at Fort Polk. All those dots are connecting, and we feel really good about it. And the tank is something that we'd love people to visit. And, I'm on top of it in the magazine.
Right.
Those kids want to get on top, and they need to be careful. But we watch them very closely and get a picture of them on top.
So this is actually a formal agreement with the United States Army garrison at Fort Polk that LSUA has entered into, which gives it even more credibility than just being something in the community. I mean, this is an agreement that I'm assuming will also open doors through their promotion internally as well.
Exactly. And, we're there under the support of the Department of Defense and the military and the commanding general. And we signed that agreement with the commanding general and the garrison commander. And David officially represents the university, but he also has a lot of experience because he was at Fort Polk as a soldier. So we get really the best of both worlds with David, because he has the resources of LSUA and he also has the knowledge of the Fort Polk community.
So this is a brand new launching thing for LSUA. And so, David, you're the inaugural. Well, what's the title? What is your title?
Military Education Advisor.
Okay. All right. Well, we wish you tons of luck and hope that continues for a long, long time. I guess I would ask you your dream for it. And I don't know what your educational process was through the military, but what is your dream for these young men and women?
That's a long-winded answer, but I'll try to make it as short as possible.
I'll tell you what, since you say it's a long-winded answer and I'm at a break time, let me take the break and we'll come back with that answer, okay?
Okay.
Back more with David and Dr. Carell with LSUA right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
One big, beautiful bill. A signature achievement for President Trump. The decisive vote to get it done in the U.S. Senate? Louisiana's Bill Cassidy. Cassidy stood with Trump to provide historic investments in border security. Together, they delivered critical tax relief for working families. And the Trump-Cassidy law will boost manufacturing and energy production right here in America. And when President Trump needed a partner in the U.S. Senate to pass tough new penalties on fentanyl traffickers, it was Bill Cassidy who stepped up and got it done. With Trump and Cassidy, you can count on one thing: a conservative agenda for Louisiana and America. Call Senator Cassidy at 225-929-7711. Thank him for standing with President Trump and for fighting and winning for Louisiana and America. Paid for by Louisiana Legacy Policy Solutions, Inc.
At Skechers, comfort is a technology. That's right. You don't just make a shoe and hope it comes out comfortable. It takes research, innovations, compounds, engineering, and so much more to feel so comfortable you'd swear you're wearing pillows on your feet. We have features like Skechers Air-Cooled Memory Foam and fits like Relax Fit, Stretch Fit, Wide Fit, Arch Fit, and so many more to make the shoe feel like it was custom-made just for your foot. Plus, we have hands-free Skechers slip-ins technology. Just step in and go. Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week, and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time. Don't panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Holy onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/rent for details.
Tired of noisy neighbors? Want to keep pets in and problems out? Sounds like you need a Promo Fence. At Promo Fencing and Lawn Care, our fences don't just work, they wow. From classic cedar and pine privacy fences to durable chain link, sleek metal, and aluminum, even decorative fencing. We've got something for every home, yard, or business, big or small, residential or commercial, all with free estimates, expert installs, and small town customer care. Promo Fencing and Lawn Care, fences that feel like home.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
Welcome back to Talk Back, where we're joined by Dr. Paul Carell and David Buchanan, bringing out the new interactive agreement with the U.S. Army for the Fort Polk, the expansion over there for LSUA. And David, I'd asked you just before the break, what are your dreams for these young men and women, these soldiers that are going to be participating in these classes? What do you want to see for them?
Oh, my number one is, of course, just making LSUA more adaptable for the military lifestyle. Be there to provide that world-class support to our soldiers and their family members, able to adapt to that military, fast-paced lifestyle and watch them meet their career goals. And of course, second big dream is, just becoming a better partner with Fort Polk. Providing adaptable support to the military culture and, creating stronger ties with Fort Polk in the future to help meet the needs of that military community.
Wonderful. I would assume with military students, they probably are punctual. They've got it trained into them, right? Show up on time for class.
We were talking about arriving early. You're never late if you arrive early. I always get here so early. I get a couple of cups of coffee with the staff here.
I'd still be late, though.
I started to say, please don't remind me, because This is about the only thing I show up early for, and I was late today. So, well, I know that some great things happen at LSUA, the campus. Obviously I follow basketball very closely, but the other sports, the tennis, with all your international students, so you've got the baseball that's doing so well, so many other activities. Y'all have a big fundraiser going on tonight that unfortunately people can't go to anymore because the tickets are all sold out.
But they can still support the auction. We have an online access for the auction, and we have some really good items that are being offered for fundraising. We call it Shrimp Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we call it Shrimp Jam is because we serve shrimp in all different ways you can imagine. John Ed Labour's our caterer, and he does a really good job. And this is the 5th year we do it. And this is the highest number of tickets was ever sold.
Wow.
And the most tables we've sold, as well as sponsorship.
Well, you've got a pretty impressive guest speaker coming in.
Yeah, Simone Augustus is coming. She is in the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame. She's also now assistant coach, working under Coach Mulkey. Coach Mulkey was our first speaker 5 years ago, and then she won the national championship that year. So,
did you tell her you're the good luck charm?
We're the good luck charm.
There you go.
But I can tell you that I've heard Simone Augustus speak before, and she's an amazing woman. And, she was in the Olympics. She also played professional basketball. And at LSU, she was an icon. And there's actually a statue to her.
Wow.
At the university. If you go right there by the PMAC, you got Shaquille O'Neal and you got Simone Augustus and several other famous basketball players. She's one of the only of the 4 statues. She's one of them. So it's going to be an amazing night. But if you go to LSUA Foundation, you can go to Google and just put LSUA Foundation. It'll come up, the site and the link to join in on the auction right now. It's live now. And
I'll post it too on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I asked Stephen if he could post the link to the radio Facebook page, so that anyone who would like to bid, because some of these items you're going to really be attracted to, but please link up to the auction, look at the items, and support LSUA. And half of the money goes to our athletic program.
Alvin Kamara Saints jersey?
Yep.
Come on now.
That's a
23 National Championship Limited Edition LSU football?
Yep.
You got some great things on here.
Mm-hmm. That's some really good things you can't get anywhere else.
That's right.
You can't get anywhere else. And the way we do it is half of the funds go to the LSUA Foundation, and half of the funds go to our student athletes and programs to support our teams.
Wonderful.
And as most people realize, we can't use state funds for a lot of our athletic programs. It's very limited. And so we got to raise private funds to support athletics. And, Nathan, the athletic program at LSU is so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about my wife and I starting the game together. And by the end of the game, I'm sitting on the other side of the stands because she's screaming and so loud.
You don't want to get the technical by sitting next to her.
No. Who is that woman? That's the chancellor's wife. But she's a big, big fan. I mean, she loves these students at LSUA. And, I've said this before, but it's so true. You get 2 for 1 with us.
Absolutely.
My wife, they always ask her, where's your office? I don't have an office.
Wherever she wants to be.
Wherever she wants to be. But when I'm walking with her on campus, it's amazing because that's who they gravitate to, not to me.
That's so wonderful.
Miss Arlene, So,
well,
anyway.
you've got a nice humility about yourself, because you really are, the secret sauce, and I'm grateful for you and what you've invested. LSUAFoundation.org is the website. Steve will post it on the Facebook page.
It's there now.
And take a look at that. Buy something, contribute, get ready for what's coming up. And if you know anybody in Fort Polk or anybody in the military, talk to them about David, because he'll get them hooked up in joining in classes. I think get them started right away.
Absolutely, I'm waiting.
All right, do you have a phone number real quick you can give out?
Yeah, it's 318-597-4529. Say again, 318-597-4529.
I'm writing it down because I've never heard of a 597 number, so make sure I write that down. All right, David, thank you so much for being with us today. Dr. Carell, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you.
Go Generals.
Go Generals. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We'll be back right after this with Stephanie Belgard.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Spirit Airlines is furloughing 1,800 flight attendants through the end of the year. The airline is in its second bankruptcy in a year, filing for Chapter 11 protection last month. The Union for Spirit flight attendants said the airline would look for candidates willing to take 6-month or 1-year voluntary furloughs starting November 1st. After that, involuntary furloughs would be based on seniority as of December 1st. The White House has banned Iranians who are in New York for the United Nations General Assembly meetings from shopping at Costco or buying luxury goods without U.S. approval. A document posted online shows that the State Department will require Iranians and those traveling with them for the UN's marquee event to obtain U.S. government permission before they can shop at the wholesale clubs or buy luxury items. And U.S. stock futures have been narrowly mixed this morning after record highs right across the board for Wall Street in yesterday's trading session. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
All of us have that one friend who can just light up the room with a smile. And sadly, how many of us are just a little bit envious of that friend? Well, here's the good news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver that beautiful beaming smile. Over the years, hundreds of hopeful patients have visited and been completely satisfied. They've made getting dental implants an amazingly simple, low-anxiety procedure, one that's affordable for anyone's budget. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you feel comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled, certified nurse anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Isn't it your turn to light up that room? Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Gauthier. That's 448-4540.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Well, cooler temperatures on the way, but maybe some showers as well. Good morning. Our forecast calling for sunshine and clouds, a mixture today, as we've been seeing for the last couple of days. Stray shower, thunderstorm, about a 20% chance this afternoon. 92 will do it for the afternoon high. Partly cloudy skies, 74 degrees tonight. And as we get into Wednesday, a 50% chance of rain. Afternoon highs, 86. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback for Tuesday. It's the 23rd day of September, and we're delighted to be joined by Stephanie Bellegarde, who is... There you go, Stephanie. If you can get a little closer to the microphone when you talk, that'd be great. There you go. Stephanie is organizing the National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims Candlelight Vigil, which will take place Thursday evening from 7 to 9 downtown. And Stephanie, thank you, first of all, for coming in and sharing this story with us.
Well, thank y'all for having me, and it's a great way to get the word out there for everybody.
Well, a lot of folks listening, many people have been touched by violence in some way, and you have a very personal story that some have known. I know about you through listening to podcasts and following the media stories of the loss of your daughter many years ago.
Yes, sir. 20 years ago, well, actually almost 21, my baby girl, she was 19 years old. She was found in Texas. And I got a call from the Alexander Police Department, and they asked for Courtney. And I said, well, Courtney's not here, but is something wrong? And he said, possibly. And that's when he told me they found a body in Texas with my daughter's ring on the finger. And I thought I was hearing things, and I asked him to repeat himself, and he did. And I just threw the phone down, and that's where my journey began.
And that story has shaken Central Louisiana, and it took many years to get to a place of justice. I remember the Justice for Courtney movement that you were part of, and your mother and different ones. But y'all finally did achieve a justice in the court system recently. Well, not recently, but in the last couple of years.
Yes, sir. Well, for 17 years, Courtney's murder was unsolved. And I tell you, when you have an unsolved murder, there is nobody in your corner to help you. There's nobody. If you're in the court system and you have a perpetrator or a person that is the murderer, then at least you have a trial person that's with you and a district attorney and a victim's advocate. But if you have an unsolved murder, you're just thrown out there and you got to figure it out on yourself. And that's what I did. And that's why I got so proactive in this, helping other families that needed help and they didn't know who to turn to.
It does seem that the Real Life, Real Crime podcast with Woody, I forget his last name.
Overton.
Yes, sir. Former state trooper.
Yes.
Kind of brought a lot of light back to it and found new clues and reopened it and has given your family closure. And you want to help other families, even though you may not be able to help them in the legal aspect, at least bring attention to their stories.
Absolutely. And I always let them know I'm not a professional, but I've walked this walk. And I can tell them what I did to cope to get through this. But yes, 17 years after Courtney's cold case, I reached out to Woody Overton. He was a friend of my cousin's. And the detective at the time told me, you cannot talk to him. This is still an open investigation. And there's some other things that, I'd rather not disclose, but I was not buying it. And I said, I'm not going away. And until you can tell me who put my daughter's body where she was found, then this case is unsolved.
So your family now has received that legal closure. I'm sure that has been healing on some level, but keeping her story alive and helping other family members of victims has become very important to you.
Absolutely, yes. And when we got our day in court, is what I'm going to say, I know that there is a word closure, but you really, it helps a little bit ease, but there's nothing really that ever bring my baby girl back. And the loneliness and the depression is always still there. And there's always that empty chair at the table.
So tell us about this National Day of Remembrance. Is this a national organization that you connected with, or?
Yes. In 2005, about a year after Courtney's murder, I got involved with the Parents of Murdered Children. And that's not just murdered children, it's any family member or friend. And I got involved with them. And what it is like one huge support group. Excuse me. And so I got involved. And what started Parents of Murdered Children was Robert and Charlotte Huliger. They started in 1978. Their 19-year-old daughter, Lisa, was murdered in Germany while she was studying abroad. And she was murdered, beat to death with a sledgehammer by her boyfriend at that time when she tried to break off the relationship. And so when they started reaching out to seek help, they found two other families that had lost children to murder also. So they started their own support group in their living room. And a Catholic priest came and was kind of like the mediator of the group. And then it just blossomed from there. And now it's like in 9 different countries, and it's a group you do not want to be a part of.
I do not want to be a part of.
No, sir.
So tell us what people can expect on Thursday night when they come at 7 o'clock.
Thursday night, we are doing it at the downtown Alexandria mini park. Usually we do it at the courthouse on the steps, but they're doing a lot of remodeling at the courthouse right now, so there's really no place for us to put our chairs.
Dumpsters are filling up all that space.
Yes, sir. So we're doing it at the downtown Alexandria Mini Park, and it's right across from City Hall. And I tell people to bring their lawn chairs in case they want to sit. There is some little ledges that you can sit on, but it's probably more comfortable in a lawn chair. And we have tables set up where you can put your loved ones' pictures. And we're doing a candlelight vigil, and the candlelights are donated by Devin Brooks' mother. He was also a murder victim, the one that was shot and killed at the Red River. And his mother donated all of the candlelights this year in memory of him, which I was very thankful for. And we're going to I've got a list of names that I read out. I've got a guest speaker. The police chief will be there to speak, and a couple of victims advocates. And we just share in one another and share our stories. And when you look around and you see all these people sitting there, you know that you're not by yourself, because many times you feel like you're by yourself and you're not. Unfortunately, there's others just like you.
It's so important to have that support from people who understand what you're walking through. And I want to reiterate your request for people to bring pictures of their loved ones.
Yes, sir. And we have shirts that we wear, and people have their favorite colors of their loved ones, and it's just near and dear to my heart. And it started in 2007. The House of Representatives nominated this day, September the 25th, as the National Day of Remembrance, because Charlotte and Robert Huliger's daughter, Lisa, that was her birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was almost hesitant to ask you why the date, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, sir.
Well, again, with just a minute or two left, the big part of the story is to come out Thursday night, 7 to 9. Yes. And you don't even have to have been a personal victim if you just want to support these families.
Absolutely.
It would mean a lot to these families to see a good crowd there to show their love and support.
Yes, sir. And sadly, every year my list gets longer.
Wow.
But I read everybody's name that in central Louisiana, or people that are from here that has a lost loved one to murder. And also at the end, I read a list of people that are still missing.
Well, thank you for doing this, Stephanie.
Yes, sir.
And I know just hearing the word murder is hard for us. You hear it, you say it, you want to make sure these names are not forgotten.
Exactly.
I know what my limited activity with families who go through loss, it's important to say their names. Sometimes people on the outside are almost hesitant to bring up their stories because they think it might cause you more pain. But I think it can be healing and helpful to you to hear those stories and hear their name and know they're not forgotten.
Yes, sir. And I say their names loud and proud.
Stephanie Belgara, join with her on this Thursday evening in front of the Alexander City Hall. It's called the Alexander Fulton Mini Park. I guess if you want to think of it, the little place there across from Century Drugs and the downtown, the City Hall, 7 to 9. Bring your pictures. Candles will be provided.
Yes, sir. And a lawn chair if you need to sit. Yes, sir.
Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right. We'll be back right after this.
KSYL. Louisiana forests once fueled our economy. Your granddad logged these woods. So did your dad. And now, Beaver Lake Renewable Energy is keeping that legacy alive, turning thinnings and wood byproducts into clean fuel right here in Pineville. It means more jobs, stronger forests, and a future that honors where Central Louisiana came from. Be part of Louisiana's next chapter. Visit BeaverLakeRenewable.com and find out how we're putting Central Louisiana back on the map.
Storms, tornadoes, power outages. It's the season. So get prepared. Get storm ready with Southern Air. Get a free estimate on a generator, the right generator for your home and family, plus 0% financing for 60 months with approved credit. Let Southern Air help you take the worry out of hurricane season. Take action now. Visit southernairnow.com and let us bear it. Or give us a call at 318-777-5555. Keep the lights on with Southern Air.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sean Salisbury is here. Mike Greenberg joins the show. We'll talk recruiting with Shay Dixon. 3 to 6, Alexandria's 94.7 ESPN.
Now back to Talk Back. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Talk Back. I turned that microphone off.
Oh, okay.
I was pointing at the camera.
Sorry.
So, well, what a poignant interview with Stephanie, who has that personal connection to murder and loss, and can speak so eloquently and heartfelt about it. I don't know, had you the Courtney Coco story, when I started listening to that podcast, that was riveting podcast material that Woody Overton did. I became a subscriber to his podcast for quite some time, and I know that family finally received that closure in the legal system, but as she says, there's never closure in your life. You always have that hole.
No, it's a tough thing. In my previous job in Shreveport at the television station there, I did a weekly segment called Cold Cases, and talking to people who are going through that for decades, for years, not solving a crime. It's a tough thing, and it's just they're victimized over and over again. Yeah. And you almost hesitant to call them up and ask them for an interview because they want to get the word out because they don't want their family member to be forgotten. But you just kind of reopen that wound every time you do it. So it's a tough thing for sure, and it's an important thing to support. If you can go out there on Thursday and support them, even if you're not impacted by something like that, I'm sure they'd really love to have you.
I know it mean a lot to them.
Mike's, you're having some mic issues, so that's why we're kind of sound like we're back and forth here.
Hand me that mic over there, and I'll swap out.
All right, we'll switch the mics here. Try that.
All right, let's give this a shot. See if that's
better.
And we'll get Dave Gratian in to fix it. And the master of the turning the knobs.
You broke it.
I didn't. Well, I touched something. I don't know what I touched. Yeah. Just a little final follow up on that. The story of Courtney and all those who have lost, and you mentioned how important it is to call them. I was thinking, you talked about the cold cases you did in Shreveport. Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office has a cold case division. I think Major Mark Baden is over that, and from time to time, I'll ask him how status of things, and I really appreciate the passion that he brings to those stories. He is adamantly interested in pursuing and not letting these stories be forgotten, and he might be somebody we can bring in sometime to talk to share some of the stories, some of the ones he has solved, and then some of the ones that he's still frustrated over that he hadn't brought closure to.
Yeah, it's important work, it's tough work, and it's hard work, and I just can't imagine what those families have to go through.
By the way, Mark is the father of Clayton Baden, who we had in here last week talking to. I don't know if Clayton went to the memorial, the Charlie Kirk Memorial. I know he hosted one last Friday night that was well attended in the town of Ball.
No, he didn't go to the one in D.C. There were some LCUers who went. We talked to them. So.
Yeah, Morgan Tradewell and her vice president.
Yeah.
Nice to hear the response that they're having with more interest from other students wanting to join and be a part. Well, anything that gets people engaged in the political discussion is important and good. And when I have been a candidate in the past, I've often said to people, it's obviously I want you to vote for me, but it's more important that you vote, whether you vote for me or for the other person. Having that voice in there. And turnout has always been such a difficult thing. In Louisiana, in all elections, sometimes we won't even get to 10% turnout on decisions that affect thousands and thousands of people. So getting people engaged, I think, is so very important.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And some people say we might have too many elections here in Louisiana. That's another discussion. But, I mean, the turnout is abysmal if the president is not on the ticket.
And we used to have more. I think we only have like 4 a year now. There used to be 6 or 8. And they did, streamline. You have 2 in the spring and 2 in the fall, including your primaries. Now, they'll probably have to add 2 more with the closed primaries. Those will have to be separate elections. But we'll see what happens with that. By
Reminder there, you might want to register on a party you want to be in.
That's right.
For that closed primary.
It is interesting to note there is an election coming up this fall here in the next couple of weeks. I think we're past the deadline for in-person registration. You may still be able to register on the govote.com app. I was seeing, though, that from the Rapides Registrar of Voters statements and the clerk of court, that early voting for this next election will not be at Keys Park. It will only be in Alexandria. And I think they're anticipating a lower turnout. And so they're not going to put those resources out. I mean, it's my guess on that. But there is an election coming up soon that has mostly local issues, and we would encourage you to inform yourself and get involved.
And that would not be at the courthouse. That would be at the
Kinetics building.
The Kinetics building.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they're still doing renovations there. All right, we're going to take our last break of the hour. Don't forget, you can join us in our conversation, 318-442-8255. The BOM Talk Line, back with more right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what do we have for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credit from Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers for tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99, and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan without a pay for tax and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1/2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Have a Class A or B CDL? Want to drive a local route every day? If you said yes, then you're who we're looking for. Waste Connections of Alexandria, Natchitoches, and Lafayette is hiring drivers with CDL license. You'll get competitive wages, paid vacations, a company stock program, a 401k with company match, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, and a local route with you at home with your family every night. Apply now at wasteconnections.com/employment. That's wasteconnections.com.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK-TALKBACK.
Welcome back to Talk Back. Got election coming up October 11th. The folks on that election, these are the races. The District Judge 9th JDC Division E will not have an election because Brian Cespeva qualified and no one qualified against him. Also, a similar thing happened in the village of McNary, where Kimberly Kloster was the only candidate for that alderman position. But there are elections for aldermen in the town of Cheneyville, aldermen in the town of Glenmora, and aldermen in the village of Creola. So those elections are coming up. I believe that's just a couple of weeks away. All right, let's go back to the phone line. Good morning.
Maybe we'll get to 5% on those.
You're on the Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Well, if I hadn't turned on the radio just now, I would not have known about October the 11th election. But do you know if there are any tax issues that our Rapides founding fathers are trying to hoist on us?
I don't see any in the listing that I'm looking at. What I see, let me go back. I'm going to look at one other place just to make sure. Those were the candidate options, and I don't see tax issues on there, but I will confirm that, and we'll have a full report tomorrow.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your call. 318-442-8255, BOM Talk Line. Always appreciate your call. Stephen, you've got, I'm not going to say a full day, but you got a couple of things you're going to out and about looking at today.
Yeah, they're having the unveiling or the groundbreaking of the, what in the heck are they calling it? It is the Huffman Creek Pump Station in Pineville. Big project they're doing over there.
Yep.
You want to expound upon
Well,
that?
Like an over $10 million project that dates back. Mayor Dupree and Mayor Fields both had worked on that. These are projects that take many, many years. Part of the $27 million infrastructure overhaul that the council voted on about 3 or 4 years ago. And this is one of those that's finally gotten to that point where they're going to be unveiling the scope of the project, and that'll be at 10 o'clock this morning over on LeBlanc Street in Pineville. I believe that's going to be actually at the pump station itself, where they're replacing these huge old Detroit diesel machines, pumps that are older than I am, with new high-efficiency pumps that will hopefully alleviate some of the flooding we've had downtown, along with a new retention pond that was built behind Skip Converse that's going to, again, get a lot of the water out of there, and whenever we have these big, heavy downpours.
Yeah, okay, that is pretty cool. And then I have a couple other things that I can't talk about.
So stay tuned. By the way, you did something I really like. You offer the opportunity to subscribe to your channel via Messenger. I don't know how you did that, but I love getting your stories on Messenger.
Oh, good.
I really do.
Well, I mean, it's going to be, I'll send out 2 or 3 messages a day. If you go to my Facebook page, Stephen Maxwell TV, TV doesn't mean TV, it means something else, just imagine. And go there, and then there's my channel. If you go and subscribe to it, you can get the reports and alerts sent straight to your phone. You don't have to go searching for anything. And it's free to you.
And you're not, this won't be every story. It'll just be the big stories of the day.
It's the videos that I do.
The videos, okay.
Or if it's a huge update on something. Like I posted the Oak Hill story I did. Didn't have a video, but just the information.
Yeah.
So.
And I loved getting that on my phone because it's timely, as opposed to, I think I've told you this before, that I'll try to end my day by going back to your page and look at everything you've done that day. But these breaking stories, or when they're released, I get them right then. I like that a lot.
I won't spam you either. It'll probably be around 2 to 3 a day. If it's a huge day with lots of stuff, it could be 4 to 5. But I will not be annoying. I won't, send my dog pictures on there or anything. It's just me giving you news updates. But it's called the Sinlaw Update Channel.
Well, that's really good. Really good to have.
It's kind of like a push notification.
Yeah, that's great. And it comes to you have to have the Facebook Messenger app, I think.
Yes.
That's the way it bestly comes to you.
Bestly. Very bestly.
I'll make up that new word in honor of somebody else. All right. So as we look forward to the rest of the week coming in, we're close to the weekend coming up tomorrow morning. Jim Smiley with the Wildlife and Fisheries Hunting Fishing Day will be in at 7:30 to talk about that. Also, tomorrow will be Mitch Rabelais with Sinlaw Strong Pack will be in the studio tomorrow talking about the projects or the goals of Sinlaw Strong Pack. And you'll learn about one of the new packs in the area that's making waves. So that's coming up tomorrow with Stephen and Al. So, gonna learn about politics tomorrow, sounds like.
Lots of politicking. And anything else happened in the world. I mean, it's been a lot of stuff going on for sure.
Jimmy Kimmel's back on tonight.
Just about to bring that up. To call and tell us how excited you are that Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air. And I think Disney was losing a good bit of money after their decision, and some public backlash from other Hollywood types.
But one of their big, I'm not sure, affiliate groups, Sinclair is not going to air them. So
they will preempt it, meaning they'll play something else.
2.5 Men or something. Who knows what? Interesting to see. I don't stay up late anymore. I used to be a night owl, but I get up early every day now. So I'm in bed long before Jimmy comes on. So it's not going to have any impact on me whatsoever. The people who are saying First Amendment, well, that doesn't apply to businesses. Businesses are worried about the bottom line. That's really what drives their decision making. And so will it make money or lose money? Will it help our brand, hurt our brand? And Disney has decided that they want to keep him on because for their purposes and reasons. So people will make their choices with their eyeballs.
Yeah, 100%. Let the free market decide. And, they still claim that the administration was strong-arming them into removing him from the air. That's still yet to be determined if they were linked. We'll probably never know. It just depends on your political leanings, right?
If they were, I don't think that's a good thing. Not a good choice to make. Yeah. I think that, anytime we weaponize government for those reasons, it's not healthy and good.
Even Ted Cruz spoke out against it, saying it could cause problems when conservatives lose their power, which is almost guaranteed in the world of politics.
Every time we start talking about unintended consequences, you got to be careful. All right, that wraps up today's show. Again, come back tomorrow for Al and Stephen with all the great guests that they'll have on the show, plus the best local news you'll find anywhere. Conversation starts right here on Talkback. Thanks for joining us today. Bye.